Every retirement guru online is selling you the same dream. Retire to a tropical beach paradise for just $2,000 a month and live like royalty. But here's what they're not telling you. That magical number is psychological warfare designed to empty your retirement savings faster than a casino. Within 12 months, 70% of retirees who fall for the feel rich on $2,000 marketing are either broke, sick, or desperately trying to get back home with nothing left in their accounts. You've seen the videos everywhere. Smiling couples sipping coconuts on pristine beaches, talking about how their $2,000 goes further than $4,000 back home. Perfect sunsets, cheap massages, fresh seafood dinners for $5. It looks incredible. And that's exactly the problem. Those influencers are showing you their highlight reel while hiding the financial nightmare that's about to destroy your golden years. Here's the brutal math they don't want you to see. That $2,000 budget works perfectly until the first emergency hits. Your air conditioning breaks during a heat wave, $400 to fix. And that's if you can find parts. Food poisoning sends you to the hospital. That's your entire month's budget, gone in one night. Assuming the hospital even accepts your insurance. A minor scooter accident. Congratulations, you just blew 6 months of living expenses on medical bills and bike repairs. The climate reality is what breaks most retirement budgets. Those gorgeous beach towns turn into humid hell during monsoon season. From May to October, the rain doesn't just fall. Your cheap beach villa floods, your belongings get soaked, mold destroys everything you own, and suddenly you're living in hotels while trying to replace your entire life. That $2,000 budget becomes $4,000 just to survive the weather you didn't plan for. But the real budget killer is the expat tax. Every single thing costs more when you're obviously foreign and clearly retired. Landlords double the rent when they see your passport. Mechanics charge tourist prices for basic repairs. Even groceries get marked up because they know you don't understand local prices. Your bargain paradise becomes an expensive trap where everyone sees you as a walking ATM. The hidden healthcare costs are absolutely devastating. That beautiful beach town doesn't have proper hospitals, just basic clinics that can't handle serious emergencies. When something goes wrong, and at 50 plus something always goes wrong, you're looking at medical evacuation costs that start at $30,000. Your travel insurance, it probably caps evacuation at $10,000, leaving you responsible for the rest. One heart attack can bankrupt you faster than bad stock picks. Infrastructure failures are the nightmare nobody talks about. Power goes out for days during storms. Internet dies when you need to access banking. Water becomes contaminated after floods. That charming third world authenticity becomes a disaster when you're trying to manage medications, communicate with doctors back home, or simply survive without modern conveniences. Your aging body depends on. Your $2,000 budget suddenly needs another $1,000 just for backup generators, water purification, and satellite internet. The visa trap is designed to drain your savings slowly. Those easy tourist extensions everyone talks about, they're getting more expensive every year, and the requirements keep changing. What started as a $50 extension becomes $300 in fees, bribes, and travel costs to immigration offices. Miss one deadline because you're sick or confused, and you're facing $1,000 fines plus immediate deportation. Your budget paradise becomes a legal nightmare with no escape. Property scams targeting retirees have exploded in beach towns across Southeast Asia. Criminals know that older foreigners are desperate for stable housing and don't understand local property laws. They'll show you a gorgeous beachfront condo, take your deposit, and disappear. But here's the twisted part. Even if the property is real, foreigners often can't legally own anything, and your dream home gets seized by the government with zero compensation. The social isolation costs money in ways nobody calculates. Those friendly locals you met, they were being polite to a tourist, not building friendships with a permanent neighbor. The expat community is full of bitter people competing for resources and spreading misinformation about visas, healthcare, and costs. When you need help, support, or just human connection, you'll pay premium prices for services that were free back home. Therapy, social clubs, even basic companionship. Currency fluctuations can destroy your retirement overnight. That $2,000 might buy you a palace lifestyle when the exchange rate is good, but currencies in developing countries are volatile. The 20% devaluation, which happens regularly, means your budget just became $1,600 with no warning. Your comfortable retirement becomes survival mode, and there's nothing you can do about it. The maintenance costs of tropical living eat budgets alive. Salt air corrodes everything metal. Humidity rots wood and fabric. Insects destroy clothing and electronics. That charming bamboo furniture needs replacing every year. Your laptop dies from moisture. Your clothes fall apart from constant washing in harsh water. What look like one-time purchases become monthly expenses that nobody warned you about. But the cruelest trap is the sunk cost fallacy that keeps people stuck in failing beach retirements. You've already spent your savings moving there, buying furniture, establishing residency. When things go wrong, you can't afford to move back home, but you also can't afford to stay. You're trapped in a paradise that's slowly killing your finances, your health, and your dreams. The truth is, successful beach retirement requires at least $4,000 a month, not $2,000. But the influencers can't sell that number because it's not magical enough. They need you to believe in the fantasy so they can profit from your disaster. The real question is, are you going to be their next success story or their next victim? Here's the visa reality that retirement gurus are hiding from you. Most of these beach paradise countries don't actually want you to retire there permanently. Vietnam, the poster child of cheap beach living, has absolutely no retirement visa, despite being marketed as a retiree haven. You're stuck on tourist visas that require you to leave every 30 days, and each border run costs hundreds in flights, hotels, and stress. After a few months of this expensive game, you realize you're spending more on visa runs than you saved on cheap rent. The visa rule changes happen without warning and target retirees specifically. Countries that welcomed expats for decades suddenly tighten requirements, increase fees, or eliminate pathways entirely. Malaysia's MM2H program, once the gold standard for retiree visas, now requires deposits of over $600,000, 10 times the previous amount. Thousands of retirees who planned their entire retirement around that program are now stranded with no legal way to stay in the country they call home. Thailand's visa crackdowns have become legendary among expat communities. Immigration police now conduct random raids in popular retiree areas, checking visa stamps and bank balances. The retirement visa that seems secure requires keeping $27,000 in a Thai bank at all times. Money that earns nothing and can't be touched without risking deportation. Miss one reporting requirement, fail one bank balance check, and you're banned from the country for life with 72 hours to pack up years of your life. Property investment scams have evolved to specifically target retirees seeking visa solutions. Criminals know that older foreigners are desperate for residency and don't understand complex property laws. They'll promise that buying a condo or villa will secure your visa status, taking hundreds of thousands in deposits before disappearing. The devastating truth, in most countries, property ownership doesn't guarantee visa rights, and you can lose both your home and your legal status simultaneously. The Philippines RETIREE program looks perfect on paper. Deposit $35,000 and get permanent residency. But here's what the marketing doesn't mention. That deposit is held by a government agency with zero accountability. Economic crises, political upheavals, and currency devaluations can make your deposit disappear overnight. Recent policy changes have frozen thousands of retiree deposits indefinitely, leaving people unable to access their own money while still required to maintain residency requirements. Legal representation becomes a nightmare when visa problems hit. Most lawyers in popular beach destinations don't speak fluent English, and the ones who do charge Western prices for developing world services. You'll pay thousands for consultations, more thousands for paperwork that may be filed incorrectly, and even more when you need to start over with different lawyers. The appeals process is usually a joke. The same immigration office that denied you handles your appeal with no independent oversight. Tax residency traps are destroying retiree finances across Southeast Asia. Stay in most countries more than 180 days, and you become a tax resident liable for worldwide income taxes. That means your pension, Social Security, and investment returns from back home all become taxable in your new country. The tax rates can be brutal, and the paperwork is intentionally complex to encourage bribes. Many retirees discover they owe years of back taxes only when trying to renew their visas. The visa agent scam industry preys specifically on confused retirees. These agents promise to handle all your paperwork for reasonable fees, but they're often unlicensed and incompetent. They'll take your money, submit incorrect applications, miss deadlines, and disappear when problems arise. You're left with rejected applications, wasted fees, and potential bans from immigration violations you didn't even know you were committing. Border-run businesses have become legalized extortion. These companies charge premium prices to busloads of visa runners to border crossings. But the real money comes from bribes and facilitation fees. Immigration officers at popular crossing points expect payments for smooth processing, and refusing to pay means hours of delays or outright rejection. What started as a $50 bus ticket becomes a $300 shakedown every month. Banking requirements for visa compliance create catch-22 situations that trap retirees. You need a local bank account to prove funds for visa renewals, but banks won't open accounts without valid long-term visas. The circular requirements force desperate retirees into black market banking solutions. Unofficial accounts, under-the-table arrangements, or nominee account structures that can collapse at any moment, taking your money with them. Deportation, when it comes, is swift and merciless. You typically get 72 hours to settle affairs and leave the country. That house you've been renting? Your deposit is gone? That car you bought? You can't take it with you. Your entire life gets liquidated at fire sale prices because everyone knows you're desperate to sell. The financial losses from emergency liquidation often exceed the cost of legal compliance by orders of magnitude. The ban lists are permanent and expanding. Once you're blacklisted from a country for visa violations, that ban follows you forever. Immigration databases are increasingly connected internationally, so a ban in Thailand can affect your applications in Malaysia, Philippines, or Vietnam. Your beach retirement dreams don't just end in one country. They can end across entire regions with no appeal process and no path to redemption. Overstay penalties have become profit centers for cash-strapped governments. What used to be small fines are now major revenue sources. Daily penalties of $50 to $100 add up fast when you're sick, confused, or simply unable to travel. A medical emergency that keeps you in the hospital past your visa expiry can result in thousands in fines that must be paid before you're allowed to leave the country. The most devastating realization comes when you understand that your age works against you in visa applications. Immigration officials see older applicants as potential healthcare burdens and flight risks who might die in their country. The informal discrimination is real. Younger applicants with identical qualifications get approved while retirees face rejection, delays, and additional requirements. Your dream retirement location actively doesn't want you there. But visa problems are just the beginning of the nightmare. When medical emergencies hit in these remote beach paradises, the healthcare reality makes visa troubles look like minor inconveniences. The beautiful beach towns marketed to retirees have one terrifying thing in common. They're medical deserts with pretty views. That charming coastal village you fell in love with is 3 hours from the nearest real hospital, and when you're having a heart attack or stroke, those 3 hours determine whether you live or die. The local clinic everyone raves about, it's staffed by nurses with basic training who can handle cuts and stomach bugs, not the complex medical emergencies that happen when you're over 55. Dengue fever is stalking retirees across tropical beach destinations, and your age makes you the perfect victim. The mosquitoes that carry dengue are most active at dawn and dusk, exactly when retirees love their peaceful beach walks. One infected bite, and within days you're facing hemorrhagic fever that can kill you if not treated properly. The terrifying part, most beach town clinics have never seen severe dengue complications and don't know how to treat them. By the time they realize you need evacuation to a real hospital, you're already in the danger zone. Medical evacuation from remote beach locations costs more than most people's annual retirement income. That picture-perfect coastal village becomes a death trap when you need emergency transport to proper medical facilities. Helicopter evacuations start at $50,000 and can reach $100,000.